Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
What are we doing on Dorsey?
The hearing, Your Honor.
Okay. Where's it? Is that you, Mr. Dorsey? Okay. Okay, he's only on probation on one case, right? He's got a probation case and then there's a new case. Speak out.
He's on probation for ag robbery as a youth.
And then evading is still circulating around.
Yeah.
All right, we are just going on the third amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation and cause number 18-29655.
That's correct.
Is that it, everybody?
Yeah, but
Oh, okay.
that's the only one.
Help me out. I don't know what,
He's the only one on.
y'all got to tell me what our plan is. All right.
I plan to keep him on probation.
Okay. You were Jacobian Dorsey, the defendant in this case, sir?
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement you make during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Lower your hand. You can be seated. In summary, we can proceed in summary on this third. In summary, this third amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation, which has been filed by the district attorney's office on August 4th of this year. It states in summary that on December 9th of 2021, you were placed on 10 years deferred or unadjudicated probation in this court by this court judge for the first degree felony of aggravated robbery. Is that true, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We've got a third amended. What are we going on here? I'm looking at the second amended, which there was no action taken. The first, he pleaded true 1 through 4. So now we're up to 13 allegations. So we're beginning with 5 on. Is that what we're doing or what?
Yes, sir. We filed the second actually, and then you committed the third not long after that. The allegations of the third.
What do you want to do? Just go from second and third on each? Is that what y'all are?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, specifically just.
No, I'm sorry, on this
third.
motion.
Yeah, we're going to the ones on the third.
All right. Number 8.
You understand, Your Honor?
That's okay. That we see. Number 8 states, sir, you committed the offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon on or about April 19th, 2025 in Jefferson County, Texas, in violation of your probation order. Is that true or untrue? 9, you possessed a drug, namely marijuana, on or about April 19th, 2025 in Jefferson County, Texas, in violation of condition 10 of your probation order. Stand by. Which states, do not use or possess any drug. True or untrue? 10, failed to, this was kind of a double negative here, failed to not possess any firearm, either on your person, in a vehicle in which you traveled, at your residence or place of employment as directed by the court in violation of the special amendment June 24th, 2024. Hold on, let me look at what the special amendment says.
He's on deferred, so he could considerably possess a firearm. But for the condition of probation for pleading his possession.
Let's read this right out. It's right the way it's written here. Special amendment filed June 24th, 2024. So let's find where that is. Here it is. Special amendment, defendant will not possess any firearm on his person in a vehicle in which he travels at a location wherein he resides or at his place of employment. Signed and entered June 24th, 2024. Okay, is that true or untrue? 11, alleges you committed the offense of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle on or about July 5th, 2024. 2025, rather, in Jefferson County, Texas, in violation of condition 1 of your probation order, true or untrue? And 12, you committed the offense of resisting arrest on or about July 5th, 2025, in Jefferson County, Texas, in violation of condition 1 of your probation order, true or untrue? And 13, you failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office on or about May 20th, 25, and for the months of June 2025, in violation of your probation order. Is that true or untrue? All of that's untrue. Go ahead, state.
The mistake would call Taylor Burke.
Come forward. I need the camera on over there. Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. Have a seat. Thank you.
Please state your name for the record.
Taylor Burke,
Where are you currently employed?
Beaumont Police Department.
How long have you been employed there?
I'm going on my third year, making my third year in May.
And, were you working on the date of, July 5th, 2025?
Yes, sir.
You working in the area of Park Street and Virginia Street here in Beaumont?
Yes, sir.
That's in Jefferson County?
Yes, sir.
Did you, trying to initiate a traffic stop on the Chevrolet Equinox 2015?
Yeah.
And how did that happen? Did you see the vehicle, speeding or what happened?
I saw the vehicle turn in front of me. I made a legal right turn, got on the vehicle and ran the plate. Returned to NCIC, TCIC, the registration was expired. It expired possibly in March. I initiated the traffic stop.
Did the individual driving the vehicle pull over when you tried to initiate the traffic stop?
Yes.
What happened when you?
They put eastbound on Virginia, ran a stop sign and traveled north on Kennethford the second, then took a right on Palm all the way out to Highland, turned south on Highland and east on East Virginia, and the pursuit terminated at 180 in the apartment complex. He exited the vehicle and approached the apartment.
And you said, while he was making all these turns and going, was that through residential neighborhoods or where was that at?
Residential, also in front of the school.
Was he doing the speed limit or what was he doing? And did he actually go into oncoming traffic at one point?
He was leaving right to left. There was staggered vehicles on each side of Palm Street, and he was weaving through those.
When you finally came to a stop at the apartment complex, did he just allow you to arrest him there, or what did he do?
He exited the vehicle. He placed his hands up. I exited my vehicle, gave him commands to stop. He didn't stop. He went all the way to the bottom floor of the apartment complex, the first door that was available to him, and started banging on that door and hollering for somebody to let him in that door. I walked past the vehicle, cleared the vehicle, and walked up and attempted to detain him. Initially, he did comply and placed his hands behind his back, and whenever I went to reach for his hands, he moved his hands. He placed his left hand in his pocket and struggled ensued. And he had to be placed on the ground.
So when you initially gave him orders, he continued to move towards the door of the apartment and continued to try to enter that apartment, trying to get away from you. When you were behind him trying to stop him, did you have your lights and sirens on with your patrol vehicle?
I had my lights on, I initiated my siren one time, then he immediately took off. My lights stayed on through the entire.
And initially, then he put his hand behind his back while he's knocking on the door there.
He did, when I first got within probably 10 or 15 feet of him, he did place his hands behind his back. As I approached, he relaxed his hands and brought them back to his side. And in my body camera video, you'll see his left hand start to go into his pocket. So to prevent that, because I don't know what's in there, I grabbed onto him under his arms and tried to pull his arms up away from his pocket, and he continued to drive his hand down toward his pocket. So then I grabbed him over the top of his arms and placed him on the ground.
And eventually, two other officers arrived there to help assist you.
Yes,
You're all finally able to take him into custody.
yes, sir. We take him into custody. We're about to stand up, walk into the bar.
And were you all able to identify the individual that you took in custody at that point?
Yes, sir.
And who was that?
Jacobian Dorsey.
And do you see that same individual that you were able to positively identify in the courtroom here today?
Yes, sir.
Could you please point to him, describe what he's wearing?
You can see it right here in the morning.
So, Your Honor, I'd ask the record will reflect that the witness identified the defendant.
Yes, sir, will.
Officer Byrd, did you ultimately charge the defendant with the evading with the motor vehicle, as well as the evading on foot and resisting arrest?
Yes.
Did you kind of cut your knuckles up there trying to handle him as with the resisting?
Yes, sir. There's some exposed roots by the pine tree by the other SUV right there. And whenever we fell to the ground, we landed on top of those in the wall. So that was a little bit.
Y'all wear gloves?
Sorry,
Y'all wear gloves?
I do at times if I have time at the mall.
You not in general, I use. You have to put them on, you don't wear them all the time.
Correct.
Interfere with your pistol, like if you have your gloves on.
I have reduced back here since about 20%.
Where you from?
Thanks.
And how long you been, if you certified license,
2.5 years.
so your whole time going on?
Yes, sir.
What, to the county, your local?
Correct.
You were patrolling, I guess that's been about a month, degree, so this
What's in that area?
was that your just normal patrol, it was about.
It's in zone 3.
What drew your attention to the vehicle initially?
Several evasive actions, evasive turns, that he took.
Before you ran the play?
There was maybe one before I ran the play, and several after.
Sort of appeared to you that there was some sort of, suspicious maneuvers of the vehicle before you ran the play,
Yes, sir.
and then you ran the play, maintained visual on the vehicle, is that right?
Correct.
And then what was the return on the play?
The probable cause to stop the plate to stop the car,
Reasonable suspicion, but what was the return on the play?
that the registration was expired.
Expired registration. Is anything else warrants?
No, sir.
And nothing regarding your vehicle, anything like that.
I don't believe it was registered yet, Mr. Dawson.
But when you got the return, like the person that it was registered to, you had on the line, like I said. So based upon the expired registration, you decided to initiate a traffic stop. And it might be that you had a U-turn to get behind the vehicle first or not?
I believe I just took a right and turned
When did you initially see the vehicle?
When did I?
When, yeah, how were you positioned when you initially saw it? Was it oncoming traffic?
When he turned from, when he turned, he would have turned left and I turned right.
Okay. So you passed each other.
Yes, we're just.
What a fast. Did you, what was the suspicious maneuver of the vehicle as you passed?
I was turning there way. I was making a right hand turn. However, whenever I got behind him, the first block, he got stood and immediately takes left and began the series of basic turns, which I'm trying to pick up on. And
that's when you initiated, you ran the play?
yes, sir.
Saw it was registered, then you initiated your line, your line insurance.
Yes, sir. Virginia Park, that's what he, as soon as I turned, they just come apart. And then showed my life.
This isn't your first pursuit, that's the problem. Has it been your experience at the time the vehicles fell to immediately stop in response to the initiation of your red lights and that they're perhaps trying to get rid of contraband, secrete contraband within the vehicle? Something. Did you observe the time you were driving or attempting to stop the vehicle, any kind of objects or items to be ejected or thrown from the vehicle?
Yes,
You're comfortable saying that nothing was thrown or ejected from the vehicle, you know, time behind you?
no, sir. I did see it exit the window, the driver's window.
At what point?
It was right there on Virginia before we turned north on Tennant. And it seemed like he was like flagging me to tell me to back off of him or something.
So now attempt to this car,
I didn't see anything this far.
did you go back and search that area or not? No. Did anybody at the city officer go back and look at it? It's be a quick fill was necessary. What was the maximum speed you reached?
I'm just estimating, I think probably 70 or 80 miles an hour there on that one.
So that fast?
Palm Springs, yes, sir.
Were there any pedestrians around that were in danger, you know?
I'm not sure there were vehicles. No pedestrians, but people in vehicles.
Did you observe the lieutenant to disregard any traffic control devices such as stop signs, users, lights?
Yes, sir.
How many would you say to be disregarded?
3,
Stop signs,
2 stop signs, one traffic light.
one light, was it a red light or the other one?
I'm not sure. I know that no regard was given to the intersection. We just go through.
Did it appear when he disregarded the stop signs that he initially slowed down instead of done a complete stop, or was it just slightly running through the stop sign?
He slowed down enough to turn without
Properly stop.
flipping the vehicle,
Right.
but not what I would call a safe observation of the intersection.
Connection. Any time during the pursuit, at any time during following and attempting to pull him over, was it your opinion that other lights were down?
Yes, sir.
What point?
Certainly whenever he turned south onto Highland.
Was there all kind of traffic?
Yes, sir. There was traffic coming from the intersection of Highland and Virginia.
Okay. Was there a near miss or what was the?
Sorry.
Was there a near miss or what?
There was standing vehicles waiting on the light to change that he had to, we both had to go around.
Once he stopped, we see that I think that's the frame that we have up. There's an apartment.
Yes.
A small apartment complex, apartment unit. He exited the vehicle, had his hands in the air, is that right?
Yes.
Where you, and I believe you had your duty weapon deployed at that point.
Yes, sir.
What were you ordering?
To stop.
And he disregarded that, is that right?
Yes, and we walked all the way through the one.
And then at some point you holstered your duty weapon. So
Yes, sir.
Is that point you were comfortable that you no longer needed to deploy your weapon, but safely the same?
If he was going to continue to obey commands, then I felt that I could holster with a handgun.
And
I felt that that was a safer option than allowing to get into the apartment complex and
enter the door.
yes, sir.
Did anyone ever ultimately open the door?
No, sir.
So the person that we see later in the video didn't emerge from that apartment.
Right.
You ever able to determine who was in the apartment? Was whether it said it lived there, had any connection with it? And you were able to take him into custody, is that right?
Right.
With some difficulty.
Yes.
And what was he ultimately charged with? I'm just going to ask you that, invading motor vehicle,
But
you let it on the. Did you search the vehicle or one of your fellow officers search the vehicle?
there was a not an in-depth search, just an inventory was done, and we released the vehicle to leave his girlfriend.
Your inventory that, why didn't you tell them?
Why did I not tell
Yeah,
her?
if it's inventory. It won't be the purpose of the inventory.
We were inventorying it before she walked up on scene. The intention and reason was to tell her.
Was it?
And she arrived and said that she could take possession of it.
Did you locate any contraband or anything in this?
No, sir.
What about the ground surrounding the vehicle and up to the door, anything could be discarded?
No, sir.
What were you able to infer, if anything, to the vehicle, I would kind of been needed to stop and shit and what?
Hey, PTIC and GIC fell fast search and probably was a warrant for aggravated.
For probation violation. I mean, is that indicated on the return that it's a probation violation, or does it look like just a warrant, an open warrant for that?
I'm not sure. I just got confirmation that he called on. And it was related to aggravated.
That was after you took him into custody, you discovered the warrant?
Correct.
So you would infer that possibly he was attempting to avoid one of the custody on the aggravated warrant?
Yes.
On the down.
In fact, the later said he was still in jail. And that's, he was wanting to, that's why he was evading so that he could, his family members. So he was,
Court decision, that from the great. Once you had him handcuffed and subdued, did he offer any further resistance? Or was it compliant on the ride to the jail?
Yes, sir.
Compliant, do your observations and booking process?
Yes, sir.
And again, no contraband was discovered to your knowledge during the booking process.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Dr. Burke, this was in the summertime, is that correct?
Correct.
The kids are out of school.
Yes.
What time did it occur at?
It was just after I get in service at 4 and leave this third right around 5 o'clock, maybe a little bit before.
You said the speeds were, anywhere around 70 to 80 miles an hour. Is that correct? I have your offense report. Would it help you to refresh your memory? You review that quickly. And this occurred through a residential neighborhood?
Yes, sir.
Could you see well ahead of you as to whether or not there would be any kids in the area or anyone else?
No, sir. He, especially during that long segment on Palm Street, we got very far away from him. And I could see just him weaving through, going from side to side on the street. There were staggered cars, and I believe his speed was to a point that he was having to maneuver the vehicle in a very unsafe manner to keep from hitting those parked vehicles.
And now after looking at your report, do you recall approximately how fast you're going? You're going to
Approximately 80 or above 80 miles an hour.
And you saw on your dash cam, the trail car, defendant also, he came close to striking several other vehicles. Is that correct?
Yes.
They actually went into oncoming traffic at one point, yes, sir. I passed it.
Oh, is this man excused? Yeah, you're excused, sir. Thank you. Next.
We're taking a call of Joanna Jones.
She around?
Yeah.
Where's, okay. Please have a seat, ma'am. Thank you. And raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And please pull that chair up closer if you'd be so kind and speak right into the microphone. Thank you. Go ahead.
Please state your name for the record.
Joanna Joker,
And Ms. Jones, where do you work at?
Jefferson County, under probation.
And what do you do as part of a probation officer here? Just
I supervise.
and as far as that, do you recognize an individual by the name of Jacobian Dorsey?
Yes,
And is he the same individual that on the 9th day of December 2021 was placed on a 10-year deferred adjudication for the offense and aggravated robbery?
yes,
And you were in charge, you've been in charge of supervising that individual?
yes,
And you see him in the courtroom here today?
yes.
Could you please point to him and describe what he's wearing?
He's wearing the orange jumpsuit.
All right, that's the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant.
Yes, sir, will.
Ms. Joseph. There've been several amended motions to the motion to revoke here, is that correct?
Yes,
And was he initially, there a motion to revoke filed and a hearing held on September 12th, 2024?
yes, sir.
And was Mr. Dorsey, do you recall, he was given 180 days jail as a sanction?
Yes, sir.
Did I actually argue for 60 years TBC at that time?
I don't recall what I did for, but we have to take months.
Okay. And after that, while he was in jail, did we also have some new jail incidents that brought us for an amended motion to revoke?
Yes, sir.
On March 20th, 2025, you recall the defendant pleaded true to those allegations.
What allegations?
The number 7, which was, I believe, the jail incident. Where he had essentially acted up at the jail there. Number 7, felt to conduct himself in a courteous and professional manner at all times.
Of what? Of this year?
It was March 20th of 2025.
Yes,
And that was that held in abeyance for review and
yes, sir.
also was there a second amended motion to revoke? It was filed approximately May 9th of 2025.
Yes, sir.
And was that alleging the defendant had committed the offense of unlawful carrying a weapon, possession of marijuana, and as well as failing to not possess a firearm on his person. There's a special amendment that was filed in June 24th, 2024, to prohibit him from having a weapon.
Yes, sir.
And that special amendment, was that due to the original motion to revoke where it was found true that the defendant had unlawfully carried a weapon?
Yes, sir. What he was. I did have him sign probation, and For his benefit, exactly, but, yes, that was the result of that, that's what they needed just for.
And was there then a third amended motion to revoke filed on September 18th, 2025, alleging evading arrest or detention with a vehicle and evading arrest or detention uh, from July 5th, 2025.
Yes, sir.
And as part of the defendant's probation, he's required to report to you, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did he fail to report to the Jefferson County Community Supervision and Correction Department on or about May 20th, 2025? And also June, for the month of June 2025?
Yes, sir, he did fail to report those things.
So during this period that we were kind of looking at how he was gonna do in the jail incident, he couldn't behave in jail, is that correct?
No, sir, that is correct, he did not behave.
And then during the period after that, he gets arrested for, I believe, 4 other offenses, or 5.
Yes, he got arrested one time, then he absconded. And this most recent, we watched from the officer, is what brought him in custody this time. That's what.
That's what it should be. Right.
Does he always maintain proper demeanor?
I'm sorry.
Does he always maintain a proper demeanor?
With me, yes.
Anything that would cause you hesitation to continue supervising?
Anything, is there anything that would cause me hesitation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
What's that?
his behavior.
With you or with?
With respect to the correctional staff at our correctional facility. And his behavior with law enforcement.
I guess I should rephrase that, your personal dealings with him, your interpersonal relations with him, is there anything that would cause you pause?
No, he respects me. So
Yeah,
that is not a problem.
Never in fear of him or feel that he disrespected you, he never made you feel uncomfortable in person.
No, he gives me respect. He respects me.
So you would, I guess, base any type of hesitation on anecdotal accounts of his relations with others, is that right? Not personal observation.
Yes, because his interactions with correctional staff at our facility as well as
Well,
law enforcement is a condition.
Let me stop you there. You haven't personally observed him to interact with any type of stuff. I mean, you didn't observe him out of the jail to have.
No, I'm not on the housing rules.
Yeah, so you've never seen him have problems with others. It's been anecdotal, it's what you've been told, right?
As far as what happens with the correctional
Right.
facilities, yes, and their documentation.
Right. So it would depend, and of course, there's always 2 sides to a story. It could depend on perhaps issues that the staff may have had with him.
Yes.
In personality difference, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's possible.
But like I said, with your personal knowledge, he seems like a pretty nice guy, right?
I can tell you the way that he treats me is antithetical to what I have witnessed, the way I've seen his behavior with law enforcement.
Well, in this respect, I guess what you're referring to is what we've observed today on video.
Yes,
Well, and as far as that goes, he didn't attempt to strike the officer, spit at the officer, say, make threats to the officer. I mean, he was perhaps non-compliant, but he didn't actively assault the officer, right?
in this instance, no, but there were prior instances that led us to this point to where we're continue to engage with the same motion to revoke probation. I've seen him treat those officers and talk to those officers in a manner that I found shocking.
On video?
Yes, the dash cam and personal cameras that law
So,
enforcement was not.
so you have substantial experience in supervising a broad range of people, is that right? Different personality types, right?
Yes.
That's what I was,
Mhm.
different people, different types of person with your case. What would you, as far as, this Mr. Dorsey, the way he relates, you think that there's sort of two sides to his personality?
His personality is multifaceted, yes.
Does he seem to have, maybe perhaps some cognitive, what I would say cognitive dissonance or cognitive, differentiations in different situations? In other words, he doesn't handle some situations well cognitive.
So there's to the cognitive that he makes decisions, he makes the wrong decisions to how he would handle a
A
situation.
particular situation, right?
To that, but
And he calls you to act out, right?
that's his choice to respond,
Sure.
react the way he does.
Nobody's making an effort. But certainly we could have underlying psychological drives or things of that nature that are opposite that may direct our behavior or in a particular direction. Is that right?
I would surmise it's possible that he could have psychological problems.
Right. And as far as what's available through the probation department, you would agree with me that the priority of the probation department is to rehabilitate people, to make them better through the probationary process to return to society, hopefully being productive citizens, correct?
Yes, sir.
As far as what you've observed with Mr. Dorsey, are there available programs within the probation department or perhaps through the NHMR, the spinal talk that would aid him in possibly adjusting his decision-making process where he makes better decisions?
We do have specialized caseloads for people who have intellectual disabilities,
Cognitive impairment, you know, think of
cognitive impairment would fall under the line of the intellectual, because if they're intellectually disabled, then there's a cognitive problem, cognitive issue with them.
I hesitate to use the word disabled. It has funny connotations.
He's not mentally disabled.
Right, he's not mentally disabled, we can agree that you would agree that there's appear to be some cognitive difficulties. When I say that, I mean this decision.
If he makes bad decisions, I don't know that that's because he suffers from a mental impairment that,
Behavioral issue, right?
it's a bad attitude, that's a choice.
Well, but we're all governed by our own internal psychological dynamics, right? Behavioral.
But Mr. Dorsey can display specific behaviors with me and then specific behaviors with other people.
And you agree that's kind of odd or atypical.
I think that is very characteristic of his natural that's the way that he
Right.
really is. And with me, there was just the show.
But, oh, so you think that he was being disingenuous with you perhaps?
Yes,
Not showing his true self, right?
correct.
And able to maintain that through rather stressful interactions with you when you're discussing his failings on probation, that he was always able to maintain that?
Yes.
So you don't feel that there are any programs or anything, I guess, available locally through HMR that might help him avoid situations like this interaction with law enforcement where he would make better decisions?
I don't know, he would have to be assessed by those professionals.
Have y'all done that type of assessment with the probation?
No, his mental impairments never came up. Mr. Dorsey up until sometime late last year was in the process of obtaining his high school diploma and then wanting to and had also entered into a program so that he could acquire his commercial driver's license.
And those are certainly positive directions.
But it's also an indication that I don't think that he has mental impairments.
I'm not saying that he has some sort of mental impairment. What I'm suggesting is he has difficulty making proper decisions, maybe some impulsivity that can be addressed through cognitive therapy. What about the cognitive track of ISF? What is the purpose of that? I mean, there is a particular cognitive program, rehabilitate or enable people to cognitively develop to the extent that they make better decisions, right?
Right, yes, that is the purpose of
And that would you agree with? That's the purpose of the cognitive track of the ISF. And so would you agree also that perhaps in lieu of revocation, that maybe a more proper approach with Mr. Dorsey would be talking to track of ISO.
I hesitate with that,
Why is that?
his behavior at the correctional facility. If he's disrespectful to correctional staff there, then surely he's going to display the same behaviors with the correctional staff at an intermediate sanctioned facility.
What are you referring to specifically at the
The correctional,
correctional facility?
uh,
What you've observed,
the documentation
the
that
documentation, who generated that?
correctional staff
The staff.
assigned, yes, so,
So what there causes you hesitation?
if he has issues with being in confinement at our correctional facility, it stands to reason that the same problems would incur at an intermediate sanctions facility.
Is it the same type of staff at the independent sanction facility as at our local jail? They have the same experience and training with ISF out of the tracks?
That, I don't know, I can't speak to the training that the officers at the correctional facility have to receive versus that.
They may have different training at ISF, cognitive track where they can handle people in a different way perhaps than our local jail staff. Maybe.
Perhaps,
Would you object? I mean, would it be against your recommendation that in lieu of revocation, people would order ISF cognitive track for Mr. Wilson?
I would not support that recommendation.
Why is that?
Mr. Like I said, his reputation from his confinement, it's me to believe that he's going to give those officers, that staff the same problems.
Do you know anything about what it's like to be in that jail day in and day out, interacting with those staff and the people that are in the jail? Anything about what that kind of experience is
Well,
like?
previously, before my employment with Jefferson County Corrections Department, I was correctional officer for TCJ. So I have an idea of what confinement is like.
Not about jail, not at this jail.
No, I worked at the prison.
And so you would recommend that he go to that kind of environment? Knowing what it's.
I'm considering his behavior with how he treats correctional staff, of course, in law enforcement, and then the original offense. What got him home for probation to begin with is significant.
Anything else?
But he was put on probation. The judge was to put him. So he's exhausted everything that probation can do for him, and ISF probably the track won't help him in anything.
Well, I can't speak to what could happen in the future, but I can say that I don't have confidence in Mr. Dorsey based off of the behavior that I've seen, that I've been documented.
What you saying or what's been done?
Well,
What have you seen in person?
I have seen video footage from this officer that previously testified, as well as the other officers when he's had negative interactions with them that got this MTRP process started. He was very derogatory to law enforcement, and based off of what these correctional officers say, he's derogatory to them too. Increasingly a collective behavior. So, and during the brief period when he was released from the facility after serving the 180 days jail sanction, and before he was arrested for the first offense of having the concealed weapon and marijuana in the car, I talked to him about that, about his behavior, about his demeanor, and how actions have consequences, and we need to look, make decisions today with an eye towards the future, consider ramifications and things like that. And accountability. Accountability is a big thing, because if a person is not accountable for their actions, then we cannot rehabilitate.
Personally, accountable to
Right.
hold themselves.
Right. Yes, you have to admit, people know when they've done wrong. And individuals know when they're being disingenuous. So we were in the process of working on that, and then there are subsequent offenses And, you know, here we are again. So that's why I don't have confidence, and I would not support a recommendation of sending having Mr. Dorsey in a successful complete a 90-day program in an intermediate sanctions facility.
What do you think he's gonna be like when he gets up?
But that depends on, Mr. Dorsey and how he addresses his behavior, moving forward.
With being a former TDC Jacobian.
You're asking where to hypothesize and I'd like to know who's going to win the lottery tomorrow so I can find out if you can tell me that, but it would be just speculation. Ask your next question.
You're a former. It's okay.
Correction officer.
Correction. Yeah, I apologize. Correction. It's okay.
Well, if prison were anything else but a bad environment,
Do you think he belongs in prison?
I'm just gonna object. This
Sustain.
all is relevant.
Sustain.
It's just correctional.
It's court's decision.
I understand. But I think they.
Ask your next question, sir.
So if I can't answer that question.
Ask your next question, sir. It's going to be by the court's decision, not hers.
I said, you're comfortable recommending that you go.
I have recommended a revocation of his probation several times.
Maybe prison.
Yes.
I'm asking.
Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor, just to a few things. If Joseph, the defendant actually pled true to allegation number 7. That was the jail incident.
Yes, sir.
And also you were able to observe his demeanor from the previous, unlawful carrying of a weapon that we presented in court. That was the dash cam video and body cam video from the officers in that case.
Oh, the first one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Did Mr. Dorsey's demeanor surprise you in that video?
Very much so.
Would you also believe him to be an individual who had committed an aggravated robbery where somebody ultimately died?
You mean this case
Yes, Your Honor.
that that he's on probation for? You're talking?
Yes.
What's your question of her?
If she believes as far as his demeanor and the kind of individual, would you have believed that he would be the type of individual to commit that offense?
You understand that question?
Yes, sir.
He pleaded true to this, didn't he? Didn't he plead guilty to this offense?
Aggravated robbery.
He pleaded guilty to the aggravated robbery, right?
I wasn't his attorney, but that's my
Yeah,
understanding.
and there was a death. There was a death in the course of that.
I would just observe that he pled to aggravated robbery, not felony murder. If that was the.
That's true, but the circumstances, there was a person who died in that event.
If that's.
Somebody else was convicted of something else too, weren't they?
Manslaughter.
Yeah.
So there was no conviction for murder, but there was a death, and it was ultimately somebody was the victim of manslaughter.
And I believe there's also.
Which is a homicide.
There's also a trafficking, Your Honor, in which that individual was set for you.
That's correct. Yeah, they covered that.
Ms. Joseph, in interacting with Mr. Dorsey, does he seem to take responsibility for any of his actions?
No, sir. Nothing that happens to him or has happened recently with subsequent offenses is his fault.
Anything else? All right, you are excused, Ann. Thank you. Next, please. What says defense? What says defense? Y'all know about this for a while. Y'all have to be ready. What are you going to do?
Well, he's just heard the evidence.
What are you going to do?
You want to testify? He'll testify. We'll call him.
Come forward and take a seat, sir.
Steve?
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statement you make during this testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he needs to get the microphone closer to his voice, and the chair needs to move closer to the microphone so we can hear him clearly. Thank you.
Yeah, Steve.
Go.
Could you identify yourself, say your full name and spelling your last name?
Jacobian Dorsey,
Can you spell your last name?
DOR 51.
Mr. Dorsey, I understand you're on deferred adjudicated probation for the first degree felony and aggravated robbery. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
I understand that the punishment range for that is from 5 years to 99 years to life in prison. Understand?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that Judge Stevens has the capacity as the presiding judge in the case in the event that he finds one or more of these allegations in the interim appear to be true to sentence you within that range of punishment.
Yes, sir.
And that the purpose of this hearing is to state look through those allegations. Not compliance with the evidence is Judge Stevens making a ruling on that, that he tries to revoke your probation. You've heard testimony from the state, its witnesses, and their pleas of truth, saying these allegations. What do you have to say to Judge Stevens regarding your performance on probation?
Last time I was reinstated on probation, I was beaten with my business. I had a vision last time of what I needed to do. I didn't know exactly how to go about it. Time passed, I was able to, I didn't have the best type of job. I was a waiter and going for real. So I get paid less than $3 an hour. The other stuff I tips, I use my tip money to pay my probation. That's why I was trying to get my CDL so I wouldn't have to be walked off the job because of my background. When I signed up for probation, I didn't know about it. I had to go through all this. I just want to go home.
Go through all what?
Discrimination with people looking at me like I'm just a belligerent person.
Because of the criminal history, because of the type of case you're on probation for,
Which,
and you felt that that's held you back as far as your employment goes.
with
What about the incident we've seen the video on today where the officer is behind you and you're not stopping the vehicle? What was going through your head when you saw the lights behind you?
my family didn't know about it.
Why didn't you just stop?
Wasn't my fault. That's on the way my girlfriend could be kids back for school and that was already put. Not my stuff.
Comparing that to the possibility of perhaps endangering other people's lives and getting another felony, are you able to balance those two things in your mind and make the really correct decision? What, have you ever been referred over to NHNR for mental health treatment?
I've been talking to mental health and the facility.
Who have you talked to within the facility? Are you talking about the any correctional facility? Who have you spoken to in
Different nurses that work from different fields.
there? Have you spoken to the available psychiatric staff at the jail or not?
Yes,
Did they put you on any type of medication since you've been at the jail?
no, sir, I'm still going to diagnose.
Do you feel like that you have in the past had difficulties with impulsivity, correct decision making, that type of thing?
I'm perfect for progression and anxiety.
And you've been diagnosed with that through the jail, or how have you been diagnosed with it?
With the jail.
Do you think with proper mental health treatment and counseling that you will be able to perhaps improve your decision making? And either through therapy or a psychological regimen through pharmaceutical intervention that you will be able to have perhaps an improvement in your decision making and see the consequences of their actions instead of just trying to make decisions in the moment? Evidently, Ms. Joseph doesn't think that there's any available options other than incarceration and medication, but there, you haven't had the chance to go over that and be evaluated, try to get on that track. Is that correct? In the event Judge Stevens was to continue on probation, would you comply with those type of recommendations or directives to go pursue mental health treatment?
Yes, sir.
Do you legitimately think that that type of treatment or therapy might aid you in helping complete this probation? What do you have on the outside? Well, you mentioned, I guess, children responsibilities, that type of thing that would keep, that hopefully would keep you on the right path.
I was 7 on Sunday, just turned 7 on the 4th of this month, and I just turned 27 2 days ago.
Certainly that should incentivize you to try to do what you're supposed to do on probation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you wanted to add? Talking to that, Judge Stevens?
We did, I'm blind is everywhere right now. I'm just tired of feeling like I can't. But no, not just to myself, but to the society. I'm tired of feeling like I'm not doing it. I'm tired of feeling like I have to question myself as a man, but not being able to take care of my responsibilities when I don't have no limit. When all I do is extra work. It hurts, personally it hurts, but knowing that Joseph won't support it, because I actually had one faith, I had myself at a point in time in my life.
You think she's there to help you? Did you think that? That's what you know.
You always the victim, Mr. Dorsey? You ever take responsibility for any of these things?
My decision.
Yes,
I
all
made
these.
that decision. I could have talked to different people.
You pled not true to evading with a vehicle, didn't you? You just watched that video. Are you still saying it's not true? Are you still saying it's not true?
You have to speak out, sir. You have to speak out.
So,
What about the evading on foot?
you know, he made it on with Mr. Birch, asked me to stop, I stopped. He told me to put my hands behind my back, I put my hands behind my back. I was already handcuffed before the other police officers came.
Nobody told you to stop. You actually kept walking, didn't you? Do I need to play that video? Did you keep walking? You didn't?
I didn't hit him when he said, when I got out of court, I didn't hit him when he said stop.
You didn't keep trying to knock on the door?
No, sir. No, sir.
You-
I see what's with his gun in my face.
You weren't trying to knock on the door?
I did knock on the door.
Trying to get in?
I wasn't trying to get in. I
Um,
knocked on the door to let my family know I'm going to jail.
do you recognize the phone number 409-932-7229? Do you know a Sierra Blanchard? Do you recall calling her multiple times from the jail?
Yes. Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you recall talking to your mother on the phone there from the jail?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall her, and you have a brother, is that correct? Named Woody? You recall talking to them and them telling you to quit acting up at the jail?
Most of my writers from the jailhouse is stuff like me not making my bed fast enough, or just sitting on the empty bone. I haven't gotten 5 cases, I haven't been doing anything I wasn't supposed to do.
Now, do you recall talking to them with your mom and your brother telling you to not get in any more trouble like that?
Like having with the baby.
At the jail, they're telling you not to get in trouble at the jail. Do you recall just exploding and yelling at them on the phone? You don't recall doing that? You recall on July 16, 2025, calling your brother Woody there at 409-932-8401? Do you recall telling him the weed in the car was the girls? So there's weed in the vehicle?
I'm hearing.
Yes.
Yes, sir, it was for the girls.
Do you recall also saying that the gun was in the glove compartment? It wasn't on you?
Called early, the day of the check. You called early on the back of getting out the glove compartment. The night I was arrested, he was on speakerphone telling the police officers that he forgot this stuff. It was in his name.
Do you recall?
I was talking to that girl, the one who called was in because I violated my probation. So I stopped talking to her.
And do you recall telling Sierra that on April 19, 2025, that you effed up that night?
Maybe the girl wasn't talking to me.
You don't recall saying that?
The girl wasn't talking to me.
Now, do you recall September 12, 2024, when we had a motion to revoke hearing in here for the original unlawful carrying of a weapon? And do you recall me asking the court to sentence you to 60 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice? Do you recall that? Now, you were given a 180-day jail sanction, weren't you? Do you recall then getting another motion filed because of your actions at the jail there?
Then right up from there, go ahead and you know,
And you recall getting another motion filed because of that?
Joseph wrote me a letter saying that when I, after that incident, the boy that wrote me up that day came and told me he apologized to him.
Do you recall coming to court on March 20th, 2025?
I've been calling lieutenant since we're in the jailhouse right now. I gotta tell you that I actually not giving any apologize. Lieutenant Noah, Lieutenant Stroller. And if you can't, you know, you can call Lieutenant Neighbors. They'll tell you I don't give nobody no problem.
Do you recall March 20th, 2025 pleading true to allegation number 7, which was the acting up in jail there? You recall pleading true to that? And that was in March of 25. You were then arrested not long after that, right? For the offense of unlawful carrying.
March, yes, years 2025, the chiefs on March of this.
That you were released March 11th, and on April 19th, right, just over a month later, you're arrested for unlawful carrying a weapon, possession of marijuana, and also for violating your condition of not, your special amendment, that was filed in June of 24, you not possess a firearm.
I was never charged with possession. I want to.
Now, you just admitted the marijuana was in the vehicle, right?
Right, good.
You admitted that the marijuana was in the vehicle, didn't you? And then you were released even after you were arrested on that. And in on July 5th, you had the evading arrest for the vehicle that we just saw. Is that correct? That was all with knowing that I asked for 60 years, you to be sentenced to 60 years in the Executive Department of Criminal Justice. That didn't scare you into acting straight?
I came home. My demeanor was not, everything that I did was for me to make sure I succeed. My only time was only time I messed up was when me choosing dealing with the wrong way. If I was by myself, you know, I wouldn't, with me, just trying to be in a wrong, bad relationship, just like the first time.
So it's their fault, right?
You know, my choice for being with that woman, yes, it is.
So you picked the wrong woman. It's her fault, huh?
It's my fault for choosing. I'm taking accountability over my choice.
Well, Miss Joseph was against you too, huh? It's her fault, right?
I have to just for some.
No. Why were you driving 80 plus miles an hour through a residential neighborhood when kids are out of school at that time? Do you ever admit to anything? Now, why were you running stop signs and stoplights, doing those speeds? So you weren't thinking about potential kids being out of school, other people in vehicles that's just driving down the road, minding their own business? Were you thinking when you committed this offense that you're on probation for? You committed aggravated robbery? Someone ultimately died in that, didn't they? That's what it's.
Most probably not.
All right. You may be seated, sir. Next.
Let me talk to him. Four arrests. Paul Horse, Your Honor.
Just have a seat. And You may now raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Lord, go ahead.
Would you identify yourself by stating your full name and spelling the last name?
Paula Twinay Harris, yes. One, I,
It's in the PA.
no, but I'm married now. No, we didn't start. Paula, what I, Harris.
How are you related to Jacobian Dorsey?
Always fun.
How old is he? 27. How many children do you have?
I have me, 4 of them. From a pre, my first marriage. 2 of them I adopted from another husband.
Who passed away that you adopted the other two?
All right, my stepson.
Okay. And I see you got some type of identification badge displayed. Where do you want it?
I'm working, another time there's no representation for
What,
and medication.
what do you do? What's your job?
I've been used for medication.
Administer medication
Yes, sir.
to the, what's the patient group? Then?
Yes, generally,
And, I hear spinal tap to be suffering from psychiatric.
that's the day for Wednesday. We have extra, adult mental behavior that also care to children, mental health as well. But there are 2 different possibilities.
Yes. Are you familiar with the Jacobian situation here with the probation?
Yeah,
What's your relationship with him? Would you characterize him as good, nurturing, good, supportive? Well,
yeah.
you're familiar with his activities in life, maintain a close relationship.
Yeah.
How would you describe his before, I guess, struggles on probation?
The Jacobian, over the problem and, he didn't have to get a job. He didn't care where he worked. He didn't care if he was paying him $1.50. His job was like $2 and something an hour. He didn't have to do the same job. It is him finding him a job, Jason hired him and keep him on. He worked at a facility, a bakery. And he said before we came out here, he worked at a facility and they fired him after 30 days, McDonald's one time. Where he's been hired on, fast food job, they did,
What's that?
construction.
What's the problem?
Just big background, it's always big background.
He's a good probation for aggravated assault. I mean, aggravated robbery.
Big background, yes, that's what it come up. And it was also said, he worked at the bakery as well. So I would want him to give her cash and a job like this.
So you think it was a source of frustration for him?
Yes, depression. You know, the depression. And
What are those results?
yes, you shut down. The thing that to be said.
And that makes performance problematic, I guess, in probation.
Of course, probation,
Well, he's got these new offenses. You saw, are you right there? You saw the,
I thought that
what would you attribute that to? You been knowing him?
exactly what he said, it was wrong, but the baby was wrong. She should not have a baby. I never wanted him to do that. But it's exactly what he said. He wants them, he's a family. He wants to show the girl apartment,
Who's the
knock
partner?
on the door,
Who's the partner?
the girl, they were gonna be in the video.
Okay. The one that came out or?
Yeah, I see her in a pink shirt.
Right.
You want to let burn her car and,
So he was driving her.
yeah,
So you think he may have thought some responsibility in letting her on the car?
yeah,
Right? I think that was poor decision.
I do.
I mean, you work at Standard Top. I don't know about, you probably don't know about available programs, but there are things to try to help.
Right, you know, currently. You're ready to graduate, with my master's in healthcare management. That's why I've been doing administration for years.
What do you, as far as, did they help them? Of course, dealing with depression, they may be pharmaceutical. alternative there, but also therapy. But what do you think would help in the proper decision, better decision?
I would want to get him to help with me. I would more hands-on, more in his life. And I see that the depression is a problem. We'll have to get him to help with me.
Just spend the talk very much.
Oh, sure. I'm there every day, every appointment. It's my son and I want what's best for him.
I'm sure the DA's gonna ask you, why haven't you done that up to now? Right?
Honestly, me sitting over there and my son up here and saying that he took accountability and said that he gets depression and I don't know if it's reality, but I didn't that joke. That's what made me realize.
That you really need to.
Yeah.
Not all,
There more.
not all mental health issues involve hearing.
No, no. No.
Are you asking,
I love this stuff.
are you asking those students if you can give them just one more chance on probation? Try to deal with probation.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
I pass with a shot.
You recall telling Jacobian on the phone there at jail, that he should quit getting in trouble there?
Oh, yeah, I just didn't stay out your way, do not get into any trouble there. Yeah, especially when I heard that you can get in trouble in jail. You can get a case in jail.
And did you talk to him with Woody, or, I guess his nickname
Yeah.
on the phone? And is that Jacobian's brother?
Yes.
Do you recall Jacobian kind of blowing up on both of y'all when y'all told him to?
Not lower, no. No, sir, not lower.
You don't recall him yelling at the top of his lungs?
Not at me. And I always encourage that you behave while you're especially online.
Now, does Jacobian, does he take responsibility for his actions?
Your situation.
For any of his actions?
I know he feels the things that he does, but yeah, I don't really, probably gonna have to take accountability for his action.
Were you were here when I asked the judge to sentence Jacobian to 60 years, weren't you?
I don't really recall him saying that.
At the original motion to revoke hearing, when I asked for substantial pen time, Jacobian, do you recall that? Um,
And if I didn't go, I'll do more on that.
and now Jacobian was here.
I'm sure.
Now. You heard him. You pled not true to those allegations, right?
Mhm.
Then when we played the video out there, what did you say?
To him feeling like he was going to directly there. To him, he felt like he was not, what's the word, running. He was going forward to bring our car and notify family that he was in trouble.
So
He
he was just mistaken, you think?
was mistaken for,
That
no, he shouldn't have made it. It's obvious, he ran. He was afraid.
we pledged not true, right?
That's stupid.
I passed it.
This lady excused?
Yes, I'm
excused.
Thank you.
Next.
I'm a red set target.
Parties have rested. Does the state have rebuttal?
No.
All right. Summarize.
Well, Your Honor, I think the courts heard all the evidence. Obviously, there's plenty there to revoke, even if the court wants to revoke you. As far as evading, I think the state's making an effort to say he's not accepting responsibility for evading by pleading not true. I pled him not true to that. I hope the court doesn't hold it against him for me holding them as a proof. I think in Mr. Dorsey's mind, perhaps, while, he acknowledges his actions, whether he was actually evading to try to get away, in his mind, he wasn't doing that. He was trying to just get the car back to his girlfriend's house, and then there he knocked on the door here, and I'm going to jail. He didn't just get out on the open road and start gunning at the door down Interstate 10 trying to get away. He had a particular destination he was trying to get to. So perhaps they meet the definition of eluding more than invading. But he didn't stop his directive. That's certainly visible and apparent from the video. And obviously on the other questions too, there's grounds to revoking. This was a bad set of circumstances where he got probation, but the ag robbery resulted in this whole situation resulted in a person's death. So I could see where the state would say, well, look, you got a tremendous break to begin with probation on that. That was their decision at the time to give him probation. And certainly, it was a tremendous break for him to get that. Once he got on probation, obviously with Ms. Joseph, he struggled. I would observe that at least in his relations, his personal relations with her, he appears to maintain proper demeanor. He's maintained proper demeanor in the courtroom. He's capable of that. Whatever the court can infer from some of these anecdotes from the jail, I hope that he gets them tremendously. It is a very stressful environment in that jail with the staff and the inmates. And there's always going to be interpersonal challenges. I suppose one of them tries to look at something that's more revocation on something as serious as an aggravated robbery. I leave the court's discretion, but if that's the only interpersonal problem we have with staff that the state's brought forth and offered evidence on, I would suggest that perhaps is in fact a decent record in the jail and being subject to all the stresses and strains that entails, whether you confinement, being there with the other inmates and staff. My observation, Mr. Dorsey, is that he is suffering from depression and he has mental anxiety as a result of this case and the stresses that's been put on him, especially with employment, causes him to act out several ways, and just because of his, interactions on the street with law enforcement, the way things are, he's accrued additional charges, be that unlawfully carrying a weapon, the marijuana, and the surveying and resisting charges. I know it's asking a lot of the court to continue on probation at this point, but I think that if the court were to do that, if the court would perfectly is not help evaluation and treatment prevention, or where you can address the anxiety and depression, perhaps even ISF with cognitive track ISF, something to improve his ability to make proper decisions and overcome the impulsivity, which he demonstrates in his poor decision making, that he can make probation. You get out of the moment and look forward and see the consequences of your actions and predicate your decision based upon these consequences and not just the existing circumstances when you make the decision. You can see that in this incident with invading Mr. Dorsey's mind when he chose not to stop for law enforcement. What was in his mind was the moment, the impulsivity to get the car back to his girlfriend, not seeing sufficiently far enough into the future to look at the consequences of his actions where he predicated the decision to stop, which would be the rational thing to do if you could look forward and rationally assess the consequences of your actions, which he thought didn't do, wasn't able to do or didn't do, whichever you want to characterize it. With proper condition, proper treatment, proper therapy, perhaps, then I think that impulsivity can be cured. That's what cognitive attractive ISF is designed to do, is to aid in decision making. That's the way it's part of the structure of this particular type of office in conjunction with mental health treatment. And he can do probation. Or the court can revoke him and sentence him to prison. And the court has the option of sentencing him to life, obviously, 99 years. But that's where he can probably stay there with an affirmative finding for the next 40 years of his life. So the rest of his life. The court something. I don't know if the court would do that. The court, what number the court has in mind as far as a revocation, but it might be a number where eventually he comes back into society. But I don't know how he would be equipped to deal with this thinking after having experienced a long-term incarceration, what kind of person he would be when he's returned to society. So I would just suggest at this point in Mr. Dorsey's soldiering through probation that perhaps one more chance at ISF to avail himself of that opportunity to recondition his thought processes where he can make better decisions as you want to, in lieu of revocation. Understandably, the courts can find a revoke given the severity of the underlying circumstances where it was a sentence of probation with a homicide being involved, and the court may be inclined to give him something at the upper end of the sentencing, parameters. I would just suggest to the court that, his involvement, at least in the initiation, or his involvement was such that when he got probation, it was evaluated by the state to be such that he was deserving of probation at that time, and that should be considered in whether the proper amount of prison time was assessed, and the fact that he was given probation to begin with by the state. I think now for the state arguing that 60 years is appropriate is belied by the fact that at some point they thought he deserved probation, but now they're thinking he deserves 60 years for this offense. And it's not consistent with the valuation they initially made in the case to ask for 60 years. So in conclusion, I asked for continuing on probation. I said target to track with a referral to MHMR when he's returned to probation. Of course, not inclined to do that, then I would suggest something at the lower end of the available sentencing parameters of incarceration.
The defendant was given a, I mean, I can't even describe how big of a break to begin with, being placed on probation. And I guarantee whoever did that with our office probably regrets it at this point. With the decisions that the defendant has continuously made while he's on probation, I certainly wouldn't have. And I tell you, Your Honor, he again thumbed his nose at the court. He's endangered the community once again. He already knew I asked for 60 years, Your Honor, last time. And you had mercy on him. You still kept him on there, even after he had the unlawful carrying of a weapon. You gave him a chance. He goes to jail, gets in trouble in jail with the sanction. And again, we give him a chance to try to act right. And what does he do? As soon as he gets out within a month, he starts committing the other offense, which he's arrested on. Then he commits the evading about a month and a half later. He just can't stop himself. And he knew that's what he was facing. I'd say that's all the stress and strain that's now all of a sudden come out. Yeah, I'd be a little stressed too if I knew I was facing life in prison because of my actions. But yet that didn't stop him from doing 80 miles an hour in a neighborhood where there could have been children running out there, missing several cars very closely, could have killed, again, innocent individuals. They were just driving down the road. And yet he had no regard for anybody else. And all he does is get in here and put on a sob story about him and how he's misunderstood and how it's just everything's so rough on him. It's his girlfriends, it's the probation officer, it's everybody else. And Your Honor, it's just at this point, I'm pretty done with that. And I would ask the court to sentence him to the 60 years that we asked for. He knew that, and yet he continued to act like this and endangered everyone.
And Mr. Dorsey, you have a right to be heard at this time if you wish.
You want to address the court?
I want to apologize to the court for my presence for the day. No, I could have been more voiceless, but I don't. I personally don't know what to say. And, I just want to show it, like, I want to keep my ear to the border. I told you I can do it, and I know I can complete my probation. I know I can do it.
Well, why haven't you done it? This is the third time we've dealt with a motion to revoke probation. You've admitted on 2 other occasions, after you pleaded guilty, you've admitted on 2 other occasions for violating on 2 separate sets of situations, violating your probation. And then now we are again here. I think you are able to follow these terms, but you're not making the right choices, which we're all held accountable for. We are subject to the choices we make. This is free will. You know, bad choices have consequences. And I've cut you a lot of slack here from the outset of this case. This is the 4th time you've been before me on this case for something, whether it's disposing it In the first place, the first motion to revoke probation, the second one, now we got a third one. Few times do we have problems like that where people end up with a third amended motion to revoke probation. Generally, it's resolved well before then. But I hate to, we have a 93% success rate on probation. So I don't like failure. I like to win. I wish we could pitch some no-hit shutouts, perfect games, but we can't. We're going to have some folks who just can't complete the probation responsibly. But I was hoping you would. Anything else?
We restaurant.
Okay, here's what the court finds here on this third amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation. There is sufficient evidence supporting allegations 11 and 12 that the defendant violated his conditions of probation by committing the offenses of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle and also resisting arrest on or about July 5th, 2025 in Jefferson County, Texas. And resisting arrest under the Texas Penal Code involves a person who commits such an offense if that person intentionally prevents or obstructs a person he knows is a peace officer from effecting an arrest or search or transportation of the actor by using force against the peace officer or another. And it's plain on the video that occurred, and it is a Class A misdemeanor under the law. And the court finds that it is proven true. Allegation 11, allegation 12, you committed the offense of resisting arrest. Also, section 38.05, the next penal code section under the Texas Penal Code is evading arrest or detention. And this provides that a person commits an offense if he intentionally flees from a person he knows is a peace officer attempting lawfully to arrest or detain him. And it's clear that's what you did. And that violates allegation 11 that alleges that you committed the offense of evading arrest or detention with the use of a motor vehicle on or about July 5th, 2025 in Jefferson County, Texas. Court finds it's clear that those allegations of wrongdoing in this third amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation have been proven true by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. And the third amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation is hereby granted. Now, what are the consequences? Briefly, the court has reread and reread your post-sentence report that was prepared here in 2021, where you pleaded guilty to the first-degree felony of aggravated robbery, where you were facing no less than 5, no more than 99 years imprisonment or life imprisonment. And it hasn't been really a good history with you in this case. First of all, the police come to this scene of this event at 1 a.m, and they find the victim deceased. And the police are interviewing you, and you're stating that you were with others just to smoke marijuana and be there for his sister, and be there for, and I can't tell who we're talking about, which sister, who's Ashley. You were supposed you stated that the other Owens and Martinez were supposed to bring you home after leaving Houston, but went to the deceased person's home in Nederland instead. You stated you did not know where they parked, but you and Owens hid in the back seat when Martinez went to ride with the deceased. You were supposed to be the lookout while Owens went inside the residence. You then heard glass breaking, loud noises coming from inside the home. You went inside the residence and observed Owens on the back of the victim and was asking for your help to hold his legs and arms. You described a gag was on the deceased, the victim. You thought he was asleep when y'all left, and you said you did not take any items. Then y'all went to an address on Bolivar, and that you left Texas the next day, and you you said that Owens began to get rid of the clothes that y'all were wearing that night. Well, you pleaded guilty to aggravated robbery, and this court really stuck my neck out and placed you on deferred or unadjudicated probation, and that was on December of 2021. And you pleaded guilty to aggravated robbery. In the course of committing theft of property and with intent to obtain or maintain control of property, you intentionally and knowingly caused serious bodily injury to the victim, who ended up dying by striking him in the head with a bottle and strangulating, choking, and causing physical trauma to the throat, neck, and windpipe. And then and there, while in the course of committing theft and with intent to obtain or maintain control of property, intentionally, knowingly, and recklessly caused bodily injury to the victim by striking him in the head with a bottle and strangulating, choking, and causing physical trauma to the throat, neck, and windpipe of the victim. And you did then and there use or exhibit a deadly weapon, namely a firearm and a bottle, that in the manner of its use and intended use was capable of causing serious bodily injury and death against the peace and dignity of the state. That was signed by the foreman of the grand jury, and you admitted guilt to individually or as a party to that offense being responsible. So the court placed you on deferred or unadjudicated probation for 10 years. And also found made an affirmative finding that a deadly weapon was used in the commission of this offense. Then afterwards, a motion to revoke probation was filed on May 21st of last year, alleging that you violated your probation, and you pleaded true to committing the offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon on or about March 26th of last year, failing to immediately report to the probation office your arrest, failing to provide verification of performing community service hours, and being at a location other than your residence at approximately 2:45 a.m. on March 26, 2024. So I continued on probation. Then we go to a second amended motion to revoke probation was filed. And then before that could get resolved, a third amended motion to revoke probation is filed here most recently, on August 4th of this year. So you were placed on regular probation, on deferred probation. I continued you on probation after finding 4 violations. And then thereafter, here we are committing the offenses of evading arrest or detention and resisting arrest on or about July 5th, 2025 in Jefferson County, Texas, that we see today in the hearing with the video that shows everything. And the court makes its findings that you did commit those additional crimes while on probation. And it's still the same situation, con- bad choices have consequences. This is the fourth time here that you've had a series of problems while we put you on, that we put you on probation for with the original charge, then the motion to revoke, the second motion, amended motion, third motion, amended motion. And so we have had now 3 sets of admissions of wrongdoing at 3 separate times in the course of this case. Enough is enough. You've had your chances. The court's not going to open the door to a situation like this where you know clearly that bad choices have consequences. We've made that clear to you. And the court has really gone way overboard to the point where we've had a 4th set of bad mistakes that this court is responsible for resolving now. I find again that there is sufficient evidence supporting this third amended motion to grant it by preponderance of the evidence or greater, as allegations 11 and 12, evading arrest or detention, or resisting arrest, have been proven true beyond not just by preponderance of the evidence, but beyond a reasonable doubt. Your unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. Earlier in this case, you had pleaded guilty in December of 2021. So we're going on 4 years now. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood the consequences of pleading guilty. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted during that hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt based upon the consequences and results of this third amended motion to revoke unadjudicated probation. You were hereby found guilty now beyond a reasonable doubt of this first degree felony of aggravated robbery. You were hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 30 years. An affirmative finding that a deadly weapon, you may leave the room, please. You must leave the room when you're going to interrupt the court. Thank you. He is being held accountable for being part of a robbery that resulted in the homicide of a human. 4th time he's had to deal with problems while get out of the room. Thank you, ma'am. You're interrupting the proceedings. This isn't hard to figure out. This is obvious. There is really no other clear method that this court can deal with the defendant. An affirmative finding, a deadly weapon was used in the commission of this offense, and it was a bottle and a firearm. Those will be affirmative findings as in the judgment that a deadly weapon was used during the commission of this underlying offense, which was serious. It's very rare, as long as I've been doing these thousands and thousands of cases, do we have a third amended motion to revoke probation where we've had to come in. We've had to resolve a matter 4 times. And in this last time, we're talking about 2 serious charges that threaten the safety and security of not only the police officer, but everybody else who happens to be in the way of someone fleeing a police officer making a valid arrest. But you've known Mr. Dorsey, and I stuck my neck out really long. You knew that these poor choices have consequences, and I'm just glad that even though I stuck my neck out, somebody didn't get seriously injured by these poor actions. I hate to see a failure. I hate it, and unfortunately, in this case, this court feels like this is fair and just under the circumstances of this case. And in light of the fact that the state asked for 60 years imprisonment, I'm not saying they were wrong. I think they have some justification for it. This court feels like this is the most appropriate method of disposing of this case, but you have made the wrong choices far too long. And even though your attorney has talked about cognitive issues, none of that is in the record. None of that has been proven. Everybody makes bad choices from time to time. And the argument made about some cognitive issues, that's not supported in the record by any scientific evidence at all. All right. That is the ruling of the court, and you will be given credit for all time you have served in accordance with this case. And unofficially, you have almost 2,000 days in custody of credit. Well, the proper credit is, I think, 1,664 days unofficial. That will be awarded to you. Anything else to add, state or defense? We are in recess on this case. That is all.
Sure.
We still have one other case pending, you know. There's this third-degree felony of evading arrest. All right. Thank you.